Most recently, I have been waking up nearly every morning, finding myself besides a reoccurring question. That question is, what direction is our society going? Asking this question is problematic, but what's more problematic, even troubling, is the answer. In this video, I will hold a discussion on various aspects to this question. The perspective I take here is a sociological and learning one. The purpose of this video is to share my observations, promote respectful dialogue, and end with a peaceful call to action. Lastly, my goal is to spread awareness that if we continue to ignore the way our society is going, then we further our divide, further complacency, and further harm our communities. I ask this, has the end of days come? Have we failed? Have we failed to uphold our humanity? The first aspect of the question I like to discuss is our priorities. At some point, we have made a shift in our priorities from humility to owning material possessions. Our focus is on things instead of principles. Principles, by the way, that don't hate, ostracize, or shame or guilt anyone. Principles that promote the advancement of people and promote acceptance and inclusion. We have developed instead a mindset of having this or that latest technology, this or that house, this or that vehicle, these or those clothes, and monetary wealth. More and more monetary wealth isn't enough. Aside from owning material possessions, our social priorities have been ego-centered and of greed. Today, it's all too common to live in a world where there's profits over humanity, violence over peace, hate over kindness, corruption over justice, and fame over community. Our priorities have been consistent with the mentality of taking advantage of people's misfortunes and people's dignity. Have we no love or compassion for each other? Countless examples prove that our priorities are sorely misguided. Professional athletes are grossly overcompensated. The working people are grossly underpaid. The cost of education is skyrocketing. More and more companies and its leaders get away with corruption. Drug distribution and corruption and consumption, gun violence, domestic abuse, child neglect, hunger, and hatred are all commonplace. It costs more to eat healthy. We continue to incarcerate and wrongly accuse others rather than repairing harm that has been done. We divide each other into classes or castes to assume who's better and who has what, a category of the haves and have-nots. I want us to realize something here. For every dollar we spend, for everything we buy, and for everything we eat, remember the poor, the homeless, the underprivileged, how the system we created continues to ostracize them. And oftentimes we forget but they too matter. The after-mentioned examples are to name just a few. These examples have been happening and surely are scary. It's scary to live in a world where things have more value than people. We are becoming further from understanding and acquiring the secrets and meaning of life. What's more, success isn't about how our monetary portfolio looks or the things we possess, but success is about self gratification, self satisfaction, and bettering our communities for today and for tomorrow. There isn't a price tag on human dignity and human purpose. However, our priorities are priced, and our dignity and purpose is being sold. We must come to understand that we are interdependent of each other and of our committed and omitted choices. Every choice has its impact, and every person has his or her influence. The next aspect I like to discuss is relationships. We might as well be complacent to the direction of our priorities. People seem to be concerned more about what's happening in their own bubbles than to what's happening to others outside of their bubbles. We are absent to the world around us, sheltered in our own silos. We are in situations where we have no other choice but to be in, or that the alternative choice is impossible to attain. Hardly anyone says hello or goodbye anymore. We want to go through the day and that's it. While in our home, we then escape to something else, such as binge watching television, binge playing video games, binge drinking alcohol, and so on. Professionally, too, we have our head held down, waiting for Friday. We and society are in places where we necessarily don't want to be in, but are. The longer we are stuck in our own bubbles, the less we question and the less we are aware, or the more we become accustomed to ignoring. Both in our personal and professional life, we seem to have lost purpose and are severely unhappy. What's more, we are consumed with status updates, instant messaging, photo sharing, how many likes our internet posts receive, and how many social media followers we have acquired. All of these things, all of these things are superficial. We actually miss out on the authentic relationships we can have. We allow, at times, social media to consume our social mobility. It fills a social void created from a system that does not work well and a system that does not work well for everyone. With regard to intimate relationships, and I know this is a controversial topic for some, uh, these are but a few nonetheless. Today, relationships are hookups or one night stands. through social apps or through mutual people that we may have met at our place of work or a social gathering. In these superficial relationships, however, we try to authenticate our desire of purpose and love. Do we really know what is the time? It seems we have no time to share with one another, communicate our feelings, being honest and being held. All intimate aspects are erased. A meaningless sexual encounter erases these intimate aspects. These intimate aspects, in fact, strengthen love and connection with our partner. We still have time, though not much, to restore our intimate relationships or to be in one. We first must understand our past experiences can explain our present relationship behaviors. I want to repeat this. We first must understand that our past experiences can explain our present relationship behaviors. I want to note that there is no model relationship that I advocate. Gender, sexuality, identity, and thereof do not apply in establishing or sustaining a intimate relationship. The third aspect now I'd like to discuss is our mental models. Our mental models are formed and molded from our past experiences, our beliefs and values we adopt, how we acquire and store knowledge, and how we think all structure our mental models. Our past experiences may define who we were, but it doesn't define the person we can be and the person we can be with. We have the potential to adopt positively to our social settings and evolve our thinking to be better people. However, when we become accustomed to rituals or habitual patterns that we engaged in practice on a daily basis, then our thinking and mindset stay in that same stagnant place. This place I often refer to as the abyss of chaos and rigidity. We, in fact, have created this place both in society and in our minds. When we are in this place, it consumes us. We become a mere shadow of ourself or the person we can become. While we go out into the world, though, we often encounter that some of our past mental models contradict who we are, how we feel, or our perspective of ourselves. When this happens, we can exhibit pain-based behaviors. These behaviors are internal and external threats that cause harm to us and harm to others. These pain-based behaviors are formed from trauma, both physical and psychological. Such pain-based behaviors include, but not limited to, withdrawal from certain life aspects, depression, arguments, fights, passive aggression, or rudeness. Our being accustomed to our prior mental models can sabotage the life we can lead. We can learn new mental models and re-socialize our behaviors. But we have to first be aware of the what that continues to keep us stuck in our rituals or habitual patterns. Surely, then the foundation of complacency that we often see are pain based behaviors. We then must be aware of our pain based behaviors and the what that is keeping us stuck with these behaviors. Now, I know these three aspects may seem daunting or uneasy on us, but I do want to leave us now with a call to action. You know, I also hope that these three aspects resonate with us and we can see that the reality of them are not far-fetched. What are we to do about them? Here, I'm going to discuss two peaceful call to actions we can practice. We must invest in these practices and go into them with the mindset that these two practices can work, that we can change our life for the better and to be better people. Like with anything, if we don't give it a chance, then surely it will not work out for us. All I ask is that we go into these practices with an open mind and with humility. Give it a try. The first call to action is co-regulation. We are simply feeling creatures that think. What makes us social, in fact, is our feelings and our experiences and how we feel those experiences. Therefore, we must understand and regulate our emotions with ourselves and with others appropriately and in positive ways. Self-regulation and regulation with others are not separate. We must understand what we are feeling and how we are feeling our feelings. We should, in any encounter, but especially in negative encounters, describe the totality of our emotions using our five senses. See, hear, smell, taste, and feel. We ask ourselves, how can we describe what we are feeling using our five senses? Being vulnerable and always feeling our feelings leads to happiness and fulfillment of our dreams. In another video, I will further explain the effects of trauma and how we can practically and appropriately manage and regulate our emotions and face and encounter our pain-based behaviors in another video. But I want to mention this here for us as a call to action. Now, the second call to action is mindful reflection. Before we can be mindful of ourselves and of others, first we must be present and aware of our current moment. We can be more attuned to our behaviors and how we interact with others by taking some time each day, or try to each day, to reflect. And when we do, in our reflections, we ask ourselves the following questions. What has happened? What was I feeling? How can I describe my feelings? How might have I made others feel? What did I learn about myself? What can I do better? And what can I change? When we adopt reflection as a daily regiment, then we can live in the moment and live every moment, or at least try to, fully present and fully engaged. when we reflect, it should be somewhere we are comfortable and are comfortable doing. You know, so I would like to, lead with what we have discussed here. Has the end of times come where we no longer voice our concerns and stand up against hate and violence? If we have, then our day of reckoning is here. If we don't stand for human dignity and human purpose, then we become zombies, really. I have mentioned in the beginning of the video that our society is going towards a particular direction. Well, you may have asked yourselves, what is this direction? The direction our society is going is a toxic one. There are toxins that continue to poison where we need to be, the person we dream to be, and the relationships we can have. These toxins are certainly not new, but rather historic and stagnant ones. Some of these toxins were dormant, but have been becoming, in fact, more potent and more poisonous. We can describe these toxins as hate, hurt, greed, self-proclamation, egotism, and entitlement. Today, it has not been any clearer that we as society are at an impasse. We have to decide whether we are going to change or continue with what we are currently doing. Will we stay with our current mindsets or give it a shot and try to change them? I believe we can change together. Let's then come together to better our life, our communities, and our future. Let's together restore human dignity and human purpose. Let's together repair any and all harm that has been done. Let's together be more mindful and present with ourselves, within society, and with others. But importantly, let's together change our mindsets. I want to thank you for listening, and hopefully you have the time to listen to the priorities of our problem that we are facing in our society, and as today we are in trying times. But also give it a shot and practice self and co-regulation and mindful reflection as our call to actions. Until next time, be well, be safe.